Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of From Page to Stage. Now, we're in a bit of themed week. We have American Independence Day, July the 4th, coming up this week as I'm recording this, and this will go out live this week. So, American independence, living the American dream. Ooh, what's that all about? I am delighted to introduce to you Chu Tang. Now, this is a repeat offender on From Page to Stage. So let me just go back for a second and explain what this From Page to Stage is about. This is a podcast for authors who have already done the page and the stage. There are some people who have done the page and not quite got to the stage yet. So this is a podcast aimed at you. And we'd love to have you on the show if you fit in either of those categories. So do let me know, and we'll have you as a guest on From Page to Stage. Now, I mentioned earlier on, we have a repeat guest, my first repeat guest, Chu Tang. Now, Chu is a beautiful lady from Cambodia. I'm going to let her tell her story. A bit of an introduction, Chu, and tell us how you got to where you are today, please. Over to you.
Okay. So I was born in Cambodia, and I escaped from Vietnam. So from Cambodia, I went to Vietnam, and then Vietnam became communist back in 1975. I escaped to Malaysia, and then I immigrated to US. And when I immigrated to US, I lived in Fort Lauderdale, Florida for 1 year, and then I migrated to California. And since then, I moved to New Zealand for work, and then also I live in Vancouver, BC, Canada. Yeah, and then now I'm back to San Francisco.
It's quite a journey, literally. Okay, so you're settled in San Francisco now?
Yeah, for now.
For now. No,
Yeah.
Never say never. Yeah, got it. Okay, so Chu, tell us what prompted you to write this book, because you contributed to a couple of multi-author books.
Yeah.
We're talking about today is your first solo project, isn't it?
Yeah. So believe it or not, 40 years ago, I had a wonderful teacher. She was my US government teacher as well as humanity. And in her humanity class, at the beginning of class, she encouraged the student to write journal. So I think we spent like 10 minutes. And then she will read out journal, no judgment, nothing. And then she told me that I need to write a book. And I said, no. And she kept, over the years, she consistently encouraged me that I need to write a book to share my story. Yeah. And unfortunately, she already passed away. And this year on January 1st, for some reason, I start picking up, things. So within the 40 years, I wrote some story about myself. And then I also wrote poems, because I find out that there are 3 ways that I express myself, right? One is through writing, and then the other one is when the emotion is so deep, I find that I need to write poetry.
Right.
Yeah. And then so that's what makes this book unique, is that it's a combination of writing and then poetry. And then when I write, because of my visual effects background, so when I write, I always imagine visual elements. Yeah. So to me, when you read my book, it's kind of like you stepping into a movie set.
So
yeah.
Audience, hang on, audience.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the first episode, Chu, visual artist, Oscars, think Lord of the Rings, think King Kong, think Finding Dory. This is what the connections here. Okay, so this lady is really good with the visual arts.
No, I mean, I'm a very visual person. So then and then there's certain things that I couldn't express in words and in poetry.
Okay.
Then it has to be in illustration, right? But unfortunately I cannot draw from scratch. I cannot. So I feel so fortunate that I have 2 New Zealand friends, and they are amazing artists. So this book gonna have I think about 6 illustrations. Yeah. Yeah. And a picture's worth 1,000 words. So I talk with them, I describe what was in my head, and then they draw out the illustration. I was like, wow.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
And the subtitle, the subtitle of the book is called Be Brave to Be Different. So originally I was going to write a book just on my own without having my husband as a co-author. So the title of that book was Be Brave to Be Different, but it was going nowhere.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was procrastinating, it was going nowhere. And then one day when we were driving from either from San Francisco to LA or the other way around, my husband suddenly say, the book title should be I'm American Dream. And I said, oh yeah. So I asked him,
I am the American Dream.
The dream, yeah. So, and then I asked him, say, why not we are the American Dream? And he say, no, it's always singular, right? Because I am the American Dream, right? And I was like, wow. And because of that title, it really picked up the momentum, and suddenly my book started forming. And I said, well, how about you be a co-author too? So that's going to be, I think, 7 chapters about his life, and then about 23 chapters of my life. And so my book is not just about my life, it's actually 4 generations. Story about my great-grandmother, about my grandmother, my parents, and myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
And obviously they were back in Cambodia.
No, my great-grandmother and my grandma and my dad, they came from China originally.
Oh, right.
Yeah, they came from China. Yeah. So my great-grandmother then left China, but my dad and my grandmother moved to Cambodia. Yeah. And it's an autobiography, it's a memoir, but because I'm so inspired by the Pixar short, because Pixar short is like, you could tell a story within 3 to 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So I wrote, so every chapter is, you could just read it on its own. So every chapter is like a short story. And I think if I write a typical memoir, it would be very boring to the reader, right? So I have to connect to the reader. So every chapter is driven by a set of emotion that I'm sure my readers will resonate with, right? So for instance, like as an immigrant, discrimination, being bullied, right? And then grief, right? Challenges that we face when we go to college, you know. And for me was also the culture between the 2 cultures. So which one do you pick? You know, Asian or American?
Yeah. And that I found, talking to children of migrants.
Yeah.
They are in that, well, I've been born in America.
Yeah.
But I'm being, excuse me, I've got a family culture of wherever. And the parents are keen to preserve the
exactly
the culture. And yet the kid's going, but I'm not from that culture.
Yeah.
So it's a real dilemma, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay. So you've got migration from China to Cambodia.
Yeah.
And Cambodia to America.
Yep.
Your husband's migration path?
Oh yeah, my husband's from Hong Kong. So
right.
Yeah, so he immigrated from Hong Kong. Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So you got the Asian background at home and living steeped in US culture.
Yeah, and then we didn't meet until I was 35. So
okay.
So the memoir starting by having our separate stories.
Got it.
So I didn't name the chapter. I named them scene because in my mind it's a scene in my life, right?
Yes.
So there are two acts. Act one is before our paths cross, right?
Uh-huh.
And then act two is our lives together.
Love it. Love it. Oh, I'm so looking forward to reading this. When are you actually publishing?
So I already upload my ebook. And so I'm doing, this is my first book that I'm learning self-publish. So
so much learning there.
it's
Yes.
a lot learning. Yeah, a lot of learning. So I, as soon as my plan is July 4 is when the ebook's available.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then
That's the Kindle version.
Yes, there's a Kindle version,
Kindle.
right?
Yeah.
And then after that, because I learned that I have to get the Kindle first and then the Ingram Spark next. So then after that, I'll get the Ingram Spark ebook, right? I already set up an account and everything. and then I plan to do audiobook, but then it might take a lot of time because I find that it's more intriguing when you listen to audiobook from the authors directly.
Yes.
Right. But then, I'm not a narrator. So I have to pick up another skill.
Yeah. Well, give me a shout. Yeah. We can do some work on that.
Oh, yes. So yesterday I already start formatting my printed book. So I do want to get the printed book ready on August 5th because it's a very important day because it would be my 45th anniversary in the US.
Oh, so precious, so precious. One of the things that I found with producing a book myself is, yes, you get the Kindle version out, and then you get that in front of lots of readers, and you also get reviews then, so that when you publish the physical copy, you've already got the reviews in there. And you've also got the opportunity to go through it again with maybe get other people to check it out. Are there any typos in there that I've missed?
Yeah. You know what? I found one myself. This whole process is very interesting because every time I'll put my book in a different format, my eyes see things differently. So when I look at the Google Doc, I don't see the error, but when I output to Microsoft, Doc, I see something, and then I PDF. So now I'm laying the printed book, and I said, oh my God, I make a typo. I mean, it's not a typo, it's missing one word, T-O. Yeah. So,
but it happens. And as you say, if you can get it out to other people's eyes, because you just pointed out that different formats, you see different things. But the other thing is that we very often read what we think is there.
Yeah.
And it's when you put it to somebody else, or the other thing I found is useful is you speak it out loud. And if you speak out loud exactly what's written on the page, that's when you say you pick up things like, oh, I've missed a the off there. And off there.
Yep. I mean, so for the key chapters, I also print them out also, because if I print them out, I see something different too. Yeah. But my book right now is with the illustration is 331 pages.
Oh, beautiful.
Because originally I say I don't want to go over 150, but for some reason.
Well, you've got two authors in there with lots of different scenes.
Yeah, lots of different scenes. Yeah.
And I love the idea that you've got some illustrations in there as well, which obviously then adds to the cost in terms of uploading because it's a bigger file.
Oh, the ebook, so for my readers, if you want nice resolution, you have to buy the printed book. Because the ebook, I have to size it down to keep the whole thing less than 10 meg, because anything above 10 meg, that's an extra charge for download. So yeah.
There we are, audience. We can pick up the Kindle version probably this week. Go get it. But then when you can see the fact that you need a magnifying glass to get to those illustrations, it will prompt us to pick up the physical copy on August the 5th. It's lovely that you've actually got a really significant date that you're working towards.
Independence Day. Independence Day. So hopefully everything is good, and then it will be ready on July 4th.
Excellent. Which isn't far away, is it?
Yeah.
As we
another thing I forgot to mention is that as I read out loud, I have to read it to the point that I start having become emotional again.
Yes.
Yeah. Then I said, okay, I got it.
Yeah. You got to connect with that emotion. And this is something that I work with speakers to do. Authors, listen in for a minute, because when you speak from your book, if you're doing a public reading, it's not a case of reading it like that. You need to connect with the emotion. But if your story involves a lot of trauma, you don't go right back into that trauma, because self-preservation dictates you don't want to go there. So it's looking at what's the wisdom that you learned. If you can access a flavor of that emotion and maybe even tell it from a slightly different perspective, so that you're not reliving that trauma.
That's true. Actually, the book is I didn't expect to be a big, huge therapy.
Just getting your story written down, and then, as you said, if you're narrating it yourself, hearing your own words describing your own story is so powerful. Powerful.
I think everybody should write a book.
Well, yes, absolutely. I mean, I believe we all have a message to share, but some of us are equipped to do it effectively. And that's what my mission is, to enable people to share their message effectively. And that can be in form of a book, it can be in the form of a stage, actually in interactions. This communication business pervades life. Because if you know how to share your message effectively, it makes so much of a difference. Beautiful. Okay, so we've got the Kindle coming out this week. We've got the physical copy out on the 5th of August.
So it will be both paperback and hardcover.
Right. Great.
Okay. Because I think some reader prefer one or the other. So and then I mean, the thing is as we know, people are taking their information in different ways. And audiobook, definitely. I need to work on audiobook.
That's why you're doing the audiobook as well.
Now that will take a while to do.
That will take a while to do.
That will take a while to do.
Because there's each chapter needs to be uploaded, and the sound quality.
I probably need to call you because I have no idea. It's another research that I need to learn.
It's another skill, and it's not something that everyone has. Because I don't know if you've heard some audiobooks, the author is narrating, and frankly they're not that good.
Well,
something's missing from it. But yes, there's when you've got a good narrator, the power behind those words is just it draws you in.
My husband's standard is I have to sound like David Attenborough.
No, you sound like you do you.
And I was like, I could never sound like him.
And by the way, he and his brother, because Richard Attenborough was his brother.
No.
Do you know who Richard Attenborough was?
No.
He was a great movie director.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, Richard Attenborough. I wouldn't be able to give you his credits, but yes, he was.
I look him up.
The two boys were very, very, what's the word I'm after? Creative.
Okay. That's a standard. I need to match.
You do you, darling. You do you. Because the point is, if you aim for something like the velvet quality of David Attenborough, and we can all sit and listen to him forever, couldn't we? Like that sort of velvet chocolatey voice. But that's not you.
I know.
And you've got a beautiful voice, and it's you to the core, and that's what people are after.
Thank you. That was my biggest struggle for this book is finding an editor that will not replace my voice. Yeah.
No. And when I've done some editing for other people, one particular character I'm thinking of was, like yourself, a migrant, and his book was called Work Like an Immigrant, and he arrived in Australia, the US, with $30 in his pocket, and came in from Brazil.
That's pretty good. I have $0.
And his whole premise was, again, sort of living the American dream. But when you come in with next to nothing, or in your case, absolutely nothing, you really do embody it. You've got to take it on, because you work harder than native people, because you've got to make this work.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, he's coming in, Portuguese is his first language. And I'm doing the editing and going, it doesn't phrase well. This is his voice. So my standard English, British English, King's English, that's not his voice. As long as it reads adequately, it makes sense. You leave it as it is. So yeah, it's a fun thing to be able to make sure that the voice of the person writing is maintained.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I mean, I think this is probably the biggest project in my life.
So far.
So far, yeah. So far, yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited with you. I'm so excited with you. So this, so we've got this coming out, the Kindle version this week. Audience, go to it. We're going to add in the link when we've got it, because you've already got it uploaded, so you'll have the link ready, won't you?
As soon as they approve, I'll send you the link.
Yes, and we'll have that in the show notes. We'll have that in the show notes. Yeah. So we've got that. Now, I'm not going to ask you if you've got anything else you're working on at the moment, because your focus is entirely on this book.
I know. So I, people say, oh, you have to spend half year marketing the book. Apparently, this is my first time actually talking about the book.
Yeah. Oh, my God, exclusive. Oh.
Yeah. And
well, yes, I mean, you do need to get onto lots of podcasts.
I know. But right now, I'm just focusing on getting that final.
Getting it done.
Get it done. Yeah. So that's the only thing I'm focusing. And yeah.
Well, make sure you do a bit more marketing, because otherwise you've got it done, but then who knows about it?
Yeah. Well, I have a list of people. I have a list of people who will buy my book. Yeah. And then yes, I plan to post it on Facebook.
Yeah.
Instagram and LinkedIn and all that. Yeah.
Do you have a list of podcasts that you'd like to appear on?
I'm going to be on another podcast. I said so far I only have 2. This one and then the one tomorrow. Yeah.
Right.
That's it. Yeah.
Think about, have a listen to because your audience is basically aimed at who?
My audience is has to be at least over 18, right? Because in the book, there's something a little bit on the,
Okay.
not for below 18.
Intrigue. Yep. Okay. So you're aiming it for adults.
Adult.
Are you aiming it at American audience? Are you aiming it at a migrant audience?
I'm aiming at adult people. So the book has only one dedication for everyone who dare to dream.
Right. Okay.
It doesn't matter where you are. And when I wrote the book description and then shared with a few people, majority of them, they got it why we called I Am the American Dream, because Wayne, my husband, and I are American, so that's why I'm American Dream, right? So if I live in Australia, I would say I am the Australian Dream, right? Yeah. But the few people that they interpret differently, and they think that, oh, are you portraying that the American Dream is superior? I say not at all, not at all, because we tell the story from 2 immigrants, and it's like any immigrant. And also not just, this book is just not for immigrants, it's for anyone who face challenges in life, And that's why every chapter it talks about a set of emotion, and yeah, and anyone could resonate with it. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, the reason I'm asking is in terms of which podcasts that you would target and go for, apply to be on, because you want to reach the maximum number of people.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe adult, and then also maybe entrepreneur.
Okay. So this is why I'm getting you to think about it in terms of where you apply to do your podcast, because who is their audience? If their audience is likely to be your audience, go to it.
Yeah, right. Because when I set up my the Kindle profile, they did ask my target audience, and I have a whole list. So the one that I end up picking was professionals.
Right.
I mean that's the closest, professional, because it's not really like super young adult or professionals.
Okay. So as you said, you're going to be doing some advertising on LinkedIn as well.
Yeah, as soon as the Kindle version is approved, everything's ready to go, then I'm going to share the link to my close friends, including you, because I set the price really inexpensive, $1.99.
Yep.
Yeah, $1.99, and then I have about maybe 10 people that I will send it to, and and hopefully this will be for July 4. Yep. And then on July 4, I would announce it on Facebook, LinkedIn, and all that.
Excellent, excellent. Have you got an Instagram account?
I do.
I was going to say, as a visual person like you, I would imagine you do. Yeah.
I'm not very good at it, but I will post it too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so excited with you. So excited.
Thank you.
It's going to be a great week. Okay. There's also thoughts of press releases as well.
Oh.
So looking at, excuse me, getting it, particularly as it's Independence Day, local radio shows, local TV shows, they're going to want some stuff that's related to that. Having a press release that you can send out to them going, look what's coming up.
Yeah, I know. Thank you for, that's a lot.
Yeah. They're after good news stories, because I mean, there's an awful lot of not so good stories going on.
Yeah.
And particularly because you guys have got an election year, haven't you?
Yeah, it's election year, yeah.
So something about living the American dream will fit in beautifully. You will find journos are going to go, oh, yes.
Actually, the reason that I got this book going is because of the election year too. Yeah.
Big year. It's a big week for the UK. They're going to the polls on Thursday as well. So,
okay.
It's beside the point. Okay, so we've got a wonderful story, chapter by chapter, short story in each chapter. Authors, if you don't know the Pixar shorts formula, oh, you should. It's so helpful. And if you go once you know it, you can look at any single Pixar movie and go, yes. It's basically the cut down version of the hero's journey. But it's done. And it's so helpful. So we've got that coming up. We've got so much marketing to do around that, so we can get this book flying off the shelves and into the hands of the people who go, yeah, actually, I'm kind of living the American dream as well. Australian dream, Malaysian dream. Dream. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Chu.
Thank you.
Coming back and sharing the even bigger excitement about the solo book. So we're going with, because the other one, the book I read only dropped last week before.
Yeah. Coincidentally, yes. Yeah. And it hit the international bestseller too. Yeah. And then the first one also hit international bestseller, The Art of Connection, and 65 Days of Gratitude. Yeah. Now, obviously, multi-author books are a lot easier to get to
international bestseller status because you've got lots of different people doing lots of marketing.
Okay.
So when you're a solo book, it's a lot harder to achieve that.
Yeah.
So, I've been working with a guy called Corey Poirier, whose his book landed last week, called The Enlightened Passenger.
Oh, that's a good title.
Oh, it's a sort of I'll tell you about that off air. That's not that. This is your story, not his. But the point is, he's really gone to town with the marketing, and he's had literally people across the world doing affiliate links and done this, that, and the other about what bonuses he can offer for people who pre-order the book. And there's a whole mega marketing strategy that he's got involved in that, so that he does actually hit international bestseller on his own. Is a solo book.
Yeah, so I don't, my aim is not to hit international bestseller, but I just want it to be over time, become a book, maybe in the Asian American study or something, over time. Yeah, because I don't want to hit international bestseller maybe for one day and then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm already thinking of a lady in Australia who is a podcaster and also put out a book earlier in the year called Badass Asian Women. So that was a multi-author book, because you'll be very familiar with the confines, the constraints of the Asian conditioning. And so these women were sort of explaining how they've kind of gone against the grain. So, I think I might put you in touch with her. I think that would be a good podcast for you to appear on. Her podcast is called The Awakened Feminine.
Okay.
But she's also had that other element to it. So this is what I mean. If you know people who are podcasters and you know where your target market is, your target audience, you can start going, I've got one for you. So there's also a couple of directories I can point you in the direction of.
Oh, thank you so much, Wendy. Thank you.
Beautiful. Okay, audience, this is what happens when you start talking, networking, getting yourself onto podcasts. You can share your stories, your wonderful work with a much wider audience, particularly if it's done strategically. So that's the From Page to Stage little plug. But Chu, thank you so much for coming back and sharing with us your From Page to Stage. Oh, any other final words of anything I've missed off?
Because this book is kind of like a movie. I give a surprise of at the end about how some movie has bloopers.
Oh yes.
Yeah, so my book's gonna have bloopers too.
Oh, and we would have missed that one off at the end, wouldn't we, if I hadn't asked?
And I'm sure people will laugh. Because the last story of the blooper, oh my God, I laughed so hard. It's for my husband, sorry.
Okay, audience, when you read the book, don't go straight to the end. Okay, don't go straight to the end. Work up to it, because it's going to mean far more when you've read the other stuff in between. Yeah.
You have to read the other in between to laugh even harder.
Looking forward to it. Yes. Okay, so anything else that we've missed off?
No, I think that's good. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chu, for sharing your From Page to Stage.
Thank you.
Thank you.